January 7th, and we're doing our 2021 Dream Workshop for Transplants for Children. So we're going to be talking about work, health, spirituality, personal relationships, romantic relationships, as well as creating personal affirmations and deciding what you want to create out of this year. So I'm really excited. I've already done mine, so that way when we're talking about examples and going through these things, we can have a really cool discussion. Although most of us know each other, we'll still do that, and then that way anyone that is watching this on YouTube can get some ideas for things that they may want to write if they don't know for sure. So we're gonna go ahead and jump in. I won't be sharing my screen, but I will be reading this paper. So the workshop will take this video, if you're watching it or if you're on here, it'll take maybe an hour, maybe shorter, just depending on how you guys are feeling. If you think we're going too slow, we can obviously speed it up. And what I'm going to have you do is get a piece of paper, probably about a whole sheet of paper per topic, which is going to be 4 topics tonight. And the reason we're going to do that is because after we write down the actual goals, I want you to have space to go back and game plan how you're going to achieve these things. So it's going to reverse engineer everything that you're working on so you can have space to write and be more creative outside of just the few minutes that we're going to spend in each section. So if everyone has paper ready, I can't see you. So how's everyone looking on paper? Are we good? So the first section I want you to write at your top of your paper is work or business. So if you have a side hustle, if you have a job, this is going to include that whole section. So go ahead at the top of this paper, write down whatever it is that you prefer. So on the top of mine, I just put work because it's kind of an all-encompassing thing. So for each section, I want you to write down between 2 and 4 goals that you have for the whole year. It may be hard to get 2, it may be hard to get 4. So I want you to go with what you're feeling works. I'm going to set a timer for just a few minutes. I'll keep talking to kind of give you guys some ideas, but we're going to give you about 5 minutes to walk through each of these projects, each of these sections. So go ahead and start working on it, thinking about what with your life, with business, with work, you may want to be doing this year. Is it changing jobs? Would you like to get a promotion or a raise? Or are you hoping to find your passion or creating a second, third, or fourth stream of income? Write down, like I said, 2 to 4 things that you find driving for you, that you think are things that you can not only accomplish, but are things that will bring passion and enjoyment to your life. So I'm going to give you a few more minutes here to write some stuff down. I want you to brainstorm, really think about things that are not just realistic and attainable, but are timely, things that you can do this year. So it looks to me like everyone has their eyes up. So we're going to go ahead and stop for this one. And like I said, we're going to go back through these in a little bit. So if you feel like you may have missed something, everything moving forward will kind of jump back in a way so that you can have more ideas. And then with the discussion, obviously you can take things that other people said or it might spark more interest or more ideas. So the next thing on our list, either going to half a sheet of paper down or going to your next sheet of paper, if you're in a journal or something like that, is we're going to talk about our health. So write health at the top of the paper. And I want you to think about things that you can do, like I said, with work that you can accomplish this year. What are things in 2021, 2 to 4 things that you want to accomplish regarding health? Now, as transplant patients, it may be reducing a certain medication or improving, our kidney function or our liver function, and something that may not be totally in our control, but it's something that we can think about dietary, we can think about lifestyle. Those are things that we may not have 100% control of over, but they will allow us to make decisions based on how we feel. Maybe we make better eating choices because of these goals. The other things we can think about are, do we want to have a workout goal a certain time per month or per week, or maybe per year? Maybe we want to work out 10 times a month for the whole year. So you can track 10 times a month per year. You can write it down each time you go. Or maybe it's to lose weight or to run faster, to be able to run farther without being winded. These are all different things that you could write down. Consider your diet, consider your nutrition, consider the time maybe that you spend preparing meals. Maybe you want to eat out less or you want to drink less soda. So make sure that you're putting down things that are relevant to you, but are things that are also going to help you in general life. Because eating out less, maybe drinking less soda, that's not good, just good health for your health, but it's really good financially too. It may give you more time and energy to work on things or to focus on some of your other goals. So we're gonna go for another couple of minutes here, and then we'll jump to the next one. Right. Looks like everyone's about looking up, so we're going to change the time on this because 5 minutes seems to be too long. So we're going to move on to our next section, another half page down, another little bit of a space. We're going to be talking about spirituality. So put spirituality on the top of your paper, or if you're part of a religious organization, you can put that religion or that culture that you're a part of. It's up to you. This is your goal workshop. This is your dreams that you want to accomplish. I'm just here to help guide you in what we're learning about ourselves. So whatever you wrote at the top, no matter what religion you believe in, most people believe in some higher power. And even if you're watching this and you don't, you can still connect to your higher self, to your higher consciousness. So in terms of spirituality, what are 2, 3, 4 things, maybe even just one thing that you hope to accomplish this year? Would you like to maybe read the whole Bible or meditate for a certain amount of time each week or a certain number of days each week? Is there a mindfulness practice that you want to start, such as mindfully eating, where you eat without watching TV, or going on mindful walks where you have no noise, no, podcast or TV show playing or music, and you just listen and pay attention to the sounds around you? There's so many ways that you can become spiritually more connected to either yourself or your higher power, your God, or whatever you believe, by focusing on yourself and that quiet time. So whatever it is that you want to do more of, write those down. And maybe don't think of these as, goals to be accomplished, but as lifestyles to create, because spirituality is something that grows and flows. And so this is a really different topic in terms of all the other ones that we're talking about today. So I'm gonna give you another couple minutes here and we'll dive back in a minute. Awesome. So looks like everyone's looking up. We have gone through health, spirituality, and work so far. So this is our last actual topic where we'll be writing goals. And then we're going to move into more of our feelings about ourselves and personal, kind of more personal stuff that's more internal instead of external. So the last thing on the list is relationships. Now, a lot of people, when they hear relationships, they think about romantic relationships, but that's not the type of relationships that most of us deal with on a day to day basis. We deal with family, we deal with friends, we deal with coworkers. So, this is a section about all relationships. What I want you to do is really think about things that you can do personally or things that you strive for within a friendship or within a professional relationship that you hope to achieve. Maybe it's better communication with your boss. Maybe it's better communication with your spouse or your parents. We all have so many relationships that are invaluable to our livelihood, to our energy, to our health, to our longevity. Being in s- strong relationships with people that we care about, even just friendships, help us live longer, happier lives. So, what are some things that you hope to work on? What are some things that you hope to do? This section, this topic is one of the things that brings us the most joy or the most despair. There's a lot of science going around that loneliness, especially in 2020, is the new cigarette, is the new tobacco product of our generation. So finding healthy relationships, creating healthy relationships is absolutely vital to just being a normal human, to just living life. And it's so hard right now. We're all on Zoom like we are right now, but that doesn't mean it's impossible to connect. Are you going to set times to make phone calls with people? Are you going to create, times to go to parks, to meet out in public, to meet socially distance and be safe? Whatever it is, think about ways and things that you wish to do to improve your relationships, no matter which ones they are. And this one may be a hard section, so I've got the timer going, but if it looks like it's taking everyone a little bit longer, like it took me, then we'll definitely slow it down here. So we just got through with our four big sections for actually setting goals, and we're gonna go back through them in a minute and have
Oh,
discussions, and this will be recorded. So I also
okay.
noticed David James and his mom just got on. So the
Perfect.
next part that we're gonna do is what I'm calling "Who Am I?" Actually, I'm going to backtrack really quick. I'm sorry. So after we get off the call, why you left all this space is so that you can go back and game plan, like I talked about in the beginning. So having these goals is like we talked about if you were in stars this last weekend, is beginning with the end in mind, just like Stephen Covey and Sean Covey talk about. And what you want to do is reverse engineer these goals. So if your goal is to read 25 books this year, then maybe part of that goal is figuring out how many pages a day you need to read and reverse engineer these goals into daily actionable skills. So I want you to have this space to go back and write ideas and create a game plan for every single part of your New Year's resolutions, of your dreams, right? Because if we can hit these goals, if we can hit these dreams at the end of this year, we're going to feel super, super accomplished. But that's not what all of this is about, because hitting goals, making dreams, making our dreams come true, trying to find what it is that fulfills us can seem like a burden. And so that's why this next part is really, really important. And it's what I'm calling Who Am I? And this is not about having success. It's not about reaching goals because things happen. 2020 happened. And 2021 so far doesn't look like it's getting much better, at least not yet. So it may take some time for us to get into a groove, for us to be, driving, moving, doing the things that we really want to do. So when you think about who I am, what I want you to think about is for this next sheet of paper, for this next section, is how do you want to think about yourself? And how would you like others to think about you? What I mean by this is, do you want to be known as a leader? Do you want to be known as a reader? Do you want to be known as a musician? Right? There's all of these different titles that we tend to give ourselves. And a lot of times we have a lot of negative self talk, we have lot of negative self imagery, and that doesn't help us accomplish any sort of goals. But if we make goals that may be unrealistic or things get in the way, if we can decide who we want to be and we can write that down, we're going to feel so much better at the end of the year if we've gotten close to being that person. So I'm going to give you a few minutes and I want you to really think about who it is do you want to be. Maybe there's not a goal attached. Maybe it has nothing to do with any of the stuff that you wrote at the top, but it's just the person that you want to become. Maybe it's a compassionate person. Maybe it's a leader. Maybe it's a lover. Maybe it's just not a fighter. So think about it. I'm going to give you a few minutes because I know this one, just like with relationships, did take me some time to really think about the person that I want to become, both in my own mind and in the minds of others by the end of this year. So I'm going to stop talking now because I'm good at that. All right. It looks like we have most eyes up. So that's awesome. I hope that that section was made you think about goals in a different way. I actually just learned about this idea recently and I really wanted to implement it in this call and in this video that we'll be posting because especially after 2020, we can get really disappointed if we don't do what we wanted to do. But if we can see ourselves as a better person, then it may not feel like a failure of a year. So our last section is affirmations. And some of you may have heard of affirmations, maybe you haven't, but just as a refresher, an affirmation is a statement that you can make to yourself, to God, and to the universe about who you are. The amazing thing about the world that we live in is everything is made of vibration, just like sound and just like our voice. So speaking powerful statements about yourself can help you feel more confident as well as bring these statements into existence. So affirmation sounds like I am so and so, or I create, or my life is. Creating statements that are positive about you that you can say to yourself, or maybe you can put it as your phone background, you can put it on your mirror, you can say it to yourself in the morning, are one of the most effective ways at seeing yourself in a positive light and creating the life that you want to live. You will believe in these things once you say them to yourself enough. So I put these separate when I did it for myself, which is why I wanted to do them separate. We're going to, we're going to create affirmations for work, for health, for spirituality, and for relationships. but I want you to put them separate. So that way, so you can put affirmations on the paper, or you can put business, health, whatever you want to do, however you want to do it. But the reason we want to do it separate is so you can look back at this one section and say these to yourself when you're feeling down about that area, or you can come back to it whenever, whenever you feel like it, or every day, which is my plan. So to start off, let's start with business or work. Let's do 1 or 2 affirmations about yourself. I'm going to give you a couple of really good examples. So, my business is growing. I am confident in my job. I am a valued member of my work team. Or if you are online like I am, I wrote, I create content that people enjoy. And these things I can say to myself, or you could say to yourself to make you feel empowered. So, I'm going to give you just a little bit of time on each of these, just so that you can kind of think about the things that you want to accomplish. But by announcing it in a way as if it's already done, gives it the statement so much more power than saying, I'm going to do this. All right. So that was about 60 seconds for that one. And remember, you can always go back and do more of these. So moving on to health, I'm going to give you a couple of examples here. I want you to write affirmations about your health. So a couple that I created, these are just off the top of my head. I actually have mine on a notebook separately. That's not on the computer here, but here's one. I am mentally healthy. I become stronger every single day. And my third one that I put here, my life choices keep me healthy every day. Saying these things, like I said, creates power in them and power inside of yourself. So another 60 seconds here to just think about statements, powerful affirmations that you can say about your health, about the things that you want to accomplish. Awesome, awesome. So we are going to move on to our third section of affirmations, which is about spirituality. So a couple of the examples that I have, I wrote, I connect with God daily. I am mindful of how I spend my time. And my meditation practice helps heal my heart. And this doesn't mean physical healing, but emotional healing. So spirituality is more than just our connection to a higher source, but it's like I said earlier, a connection to ourselves. So write down a few affirmations. I'll give you another minute here to think about affirmations about how to connect either with yourself or with source. Awesome. So we are going to move on to our last section of affirmations before we get into the discussion part. And personally, I think the discussion part is going to be almost more useful than the rest of this because you're going to get ideas from absolutely everyone instead of just me. And I basically don't know anything. So I'm just here to help. So our last affirmations is going to be about relationships. So go ahead and start writing on some relationship affirmations of things that you would like to accomplish throughout the year. But remember, I am statements, me statements, powerful, already happening statements. So a couple of examples I have are I am connected to my friends and family. My presence is appreciated and loved. And the last one I have, the love of my life is looking for me too. And I think this is really, uh, this last one is really, really powerful because if you feel like you're out there looking for the right person and you think that it's just this big ocean of fish that you're not going to find them, telling yourself that they're looking for you too is a really great way to feel like at least you're both doing some work, right? All right. So that is officially the end of everything that we're going to do on our own tonight. Well, thank you all for being here. I hope you can look back on these at the end of this year with excitement, which probably had
Oops.
something to do with being more social or getting out of the house more or some obscure thing that just wasn't even possible. So thank you guys for being here. I'll open it up. If you guys want to chat, I'll stop the recording, but you guys can say hey and do whatever. I'll leave this room open for a little bit, but thanks again for being here. We'll see you next month if you're on the Families Connect.